I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a man. Do you understand? Half of my life is unplanned.
Hello, husband, father, man here with this week's reading from Married for Life. Inspiration from couples who have been married 50 years or more. So, these readings help us think about some things that we can change or that can make our marriages better so we can survive 50 years or more and make sure that we uphold our vows till death do us part. So, let me just say this. None of us are above getting help. None of us are above getting help. As I tell many people, I will do anything to keep my marriage and family together. That means that I'm willing to go to counseling. I'm willing to talk to friends, who are married and friends that will help encourage me and give me advice, with things that may be going on in my marriage. I'm transparent like that. I'm willing to look at videos, DVDs, take classes, read books. I'm willing to do the whole 9 yards to keep my marriage together, because sometimes what we don't understand is it takes all of those things. We just kind of feel sometimes that when we get married, it's all lovey-dovey and we will work together and everything will be wonderful and it'll be happily ever after. That is the fairy tales. That's why they call them fairy tales. That's in the movies, people. Come on back to reality. Back to life. Back to you know what I'm talking about. You remember that song. But the reality of it is that, we need to realize that when our marriages are going through certain things, we need a little more insight sometimes. It's not the end of the world. And so this reading today kind of touches on that. Today we'll be reading, and it says, don't take things too seriously. Don't take things too seriously. So, we're going to be reading on what Kurt and Johnny Palat have to say about don't take things too serious. And so they were married April 7th, 1940. Woo, that was a long time ago. And so it says here, Kurt and Johnny met at a grocery store. I invited her to church, Kurt says, and we still go to church together today. They often spend their mornings looking into each other's eyes over Danishes at McDonald's. And says, husbands, how are you going to handle it when your wife bangs up the side of the car while backing out of the garage? I've been through that, but it wasn't the garage. Okay. So, wives, how will you react when your husband tries to fix the washing machine and ends up flooding the basement, ruining the brand new carpet? It wasn't the washing machine, it was the faucet in the bathroom and water was everywhere. Okay, back to the story. The quicker you can see humor in a stressful situation, the better for your marriage. This is especially true with situations that involve destruction or loss of material possessions. Why lay blame and struggle with guilt and bitterness? Since nobody was hurt, the damage is already done, and you'll be telling jokes about the disaster someday. Why not just have a good laugh over it now and move on? Laughter takes faith. It requires trust in God, who has unlimited resources and has promised to provide for our needs. Somehow or other, he will come through for us. A person who trusts God's promises and believes in his power to fulfill them laughs with no fear of the future. Proverbs chapter 31:25. Studies have shown that humor and laughter promote physical healing. They certainly are a balm for the soul. So the next time things are amiss, just shake your head and chuckle and think of the stories you'll tell. A cheerful heart is good medicine. Proverbs 17:22. Don't take things so seriously. That's some of the advice I've given to couples, lately. Because after many years, I realized something. Just because it's serious, you don't have to take things serious. And as they would say it in the story, there's so many things that have happened throughout our marriage where at the time it was just like, I cannot believe this. It was ridiculous. It was ugly. And it could have gone in a worse manner, but it didn't. And we are in control of those choices on how we react when, a car may be damaged or something like that. It's just one of those things to where, like they said, you're going to laugh about it one day. So why not just go ahead and laugh about it now? You just go ahead and deal with it and move forward. And like they said, no one was hurt. It's a situation that you have to fix or you wish you didn't have to deal with. But at the same time, like I said, about why be blaming and, making someone feel guilty about something they've done. They already feel bad enough. And so I've seen both sides of that coin. And it makes me more willing to show grace and mercy when my wife does something, because I know when I've been in those situations and I felt bad when I messed up something and she didn't react that way. She was able to talk about it with me and I felt better about it, so why wouldn't I extend that? But we don't usually think about that. All we think about in the mindset of right and wrong, or you messed up, or this could have been avoided, and so you have to deal with me telling you about yourself and all of that. It doesn't have to be that way. I mean, so just think about that. Just take that to heart today. Just sit down, because these videos are for you to watch and just kind of think about it together. I would prefer that you all sit down and look at these things together, because it allows you to look at one another and say, hey, I remember that thing that happened with that situation, and think about how you reacted to it and how you would want to be treated if you were in that situation. Because once again, we already know you feel bad enough when you mess up something. And so, when our spouse shows us grace and mercy and love at that time, that's what we truly need. And so it's just a blessing for us to be in that mindset to be able to do that for one another. So even though it may be a serious issue, you don't have to be serious about how you deal with it. Show some grace and mercy to one another and laugh about it, because we talk about those things all the time. I mean, a quick one before we leave out. Some months back, we had a squirrel that had gotten up into our attic. So you know where this is going probably. And so I was up there, yada, yada, yada. And I end up stepping through the ceiling and almost fell through to the inside of the house. Now, at the time, it was not funny. But afterwards, a niece had herself a ball. So every time, because our uncles came and helped me patch the ceiling up and everything. And they had a funky good time. And she had a funky good time. And, it was pretty funny, And so, but just her dealing with it in that manner made me feel good about the situation. We were able to get past it. No, we would have preferred that not happen, but it did. And she loved me through it. And so whenever something else comes up with her, I love her through it. So let's love one another through it. And just remember not to be so serious about things. So I hope that was helpful and draws you closer to your spouse. So you take care, and I'll see you next time on Husband, Father, Man, the Married for Life edition.
I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a man. Do you understand? Half of my life is unplanned. Most of the time I don't know what's next until